All right, we're live. Take It to the Grave, episode 2. I'm Bud. This is Nick. How you doing, Nick?
Hello, I am Nick.
I'm sorry, Nick Push.
I'm
Everybody,
kidding. I don't care.
everybody knows. Everybody
I
knows who you
know.
are
I
at this
know.
point.
I don't know about that, but I'm here. I'm excited to talk some Halloween because we're halfway to Halloween, right?
Well,
We're
this
a little
might be
bit
the
over that
the,
now.
the most fun part of talking about the David Gordon Green trilogy because we get to shit all over it tonight.
We
We're doing the
do. We
worst
do.
moments. I've added an addendum to it. Worst moments or decisions in the David Gordon Green Halloween franchise. So, you know, got to get all the
Yeah.
names in there.
Yeah. I was mentioning it the other day, one thing that we know about YouTube and social media in general is when you talk about the best of something, people are interested, but when you talk about the worst of something, everybody wants to chime in because everybody's got something to complain about. And I think in this trilogy especially, we'll probably see that in spades. So it's exciting to kind of mention the shitty parts, since a couple weeks ago we were talking about all the best parts.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you. Putting this list together, probably a lot more shitty decisions or bad moments to choose from than good moments. You may not agree with me, but for me personally, a lot tougher.
I agree that it was tougher. This is one of the toughest lists, top 10 lists that I've made in a long, long time. And it was hard for me to, the word moments kept tripping me up. I'm glad you mentioned decisions, but the word moments kept tripping me up a little bit because I was trying to think of specific moments that that I hate in this trilogy. And there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of things I do not like in this trilogy. But as far as moments go, uh, there's a lot of things I could kind of compartmentalize and rationalize in my head on why it shouldn't be on a worst list. But there's a lot to choose from. I'll definitely give you that.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we have some people trickling into the chat. Joe,
What's
Zero
up,
the
Joe?
14th, Mr. YouTube, man. I was looking at his YouTube channel the other day. That thing is
Is he
taking
going
off.
nuts?
He does the retro gaming, and it looks like he's doing mods now, like where he's going back to the old games and kind of modifying them and adding things to them
Oh,
and
that's
doing
cool.
speed runs and stuff. I noticed he did some different things with the Friday the 13th game. But Joe, it's good to have you here. He says the peanut butter best moment. Let's go. Uh, and then I said getting close, and he said that's what she said. She did never says that, but only I say that. Byron Weaver, hey man, how's it going?
Hey, what's up,
Alley
Byron?
girl, happy Tuesday. This is a Tuesday. Her stars
Is it
are getting ready to drop the puck. So
is it
she
game
her
one?
game one, her team gets to go to the second round,
Are they
and
facing Seattle?
our teams, Nick, who were in the Stanley Cup final, eliminated.
Yeah, it's been a rough week, man.
Yeah.
Rough fucking week. Just ridiculous.
Okay, so
Absolutely
he
ridiculous.
said he clarified he's not adding anything, just playing stuff smart people have added. Okay, that makes
Ah,
sense. I
see,
thought
that's
you were a
smart
pretty
though.
smart guy though.
He's
All
smart
right.
enough to listen to other smart people. Most people can't. Most smart people don't do that.
Yeah, we'll give people some time to trickle in here. Stupid me, I forgot to even post anything on Twitter about this.
Eh, who cares? People come, they come,
Yeah.
they'll come. It's
Well,
all good.
I get some out really quick. Hold on, I'm doing that real quick paste. It's out just like that.
I was gonna say, do not make me be here alone, man. I can't handle the pressure.
Yeah, Allie. Yeah, her team got the shit end of the stick
Yeah, well,
because the
Boston, she's right. Oh,
no, Dallas is playing. Yeah, right.
oh,
Because
Seattle, right?
Florida and I think Toronto are playing right now. So
Toronto, and they're both East Coast.
they get the early game. So now Dallas fans are playing the Kraken, the whose fan base I just want to say, they just won their first series, playoff series. So their heads are a little inflated. So they're pretty terrible people, just from what I've dealt with. But yeah, her team, the Dallas Stars, have to play late, and I don't think they've even dropped the puck yet.
Yeah,
tough
dude,
road.
I can't take those late starts sometimes, especially on work nights. Like I'm
Yeah,
just drained, you know.
yeah, me either, man. It's older we get, the tougher that shit is to stay up. All right, so is there anything we'll give people time to trickle in before we get into the list? Is there anything newsworthy you want to bring up? I have something.
Oh, newsworthy. No, dude, I haven't been paying attention. I'm mostly curious what you have.
So I talked about on one of my live streams back a couple weeks ago the writers' strike
Oh
that was
yeah.
going to hit Hollywood, and they are picketing as we speak. And a lot of I think the slate for movie slate for next year is probably okay, but it's but TV shows like Cobra Kai, they were in the midst of writing the scripts. They're dropping it, dropping their pencils, walking away to go join the picket line. So a lot of your favorite streaming shows are probably going to be hit by this hardest in the beginning.
Well, you know who stands to benefit from that? Us YouTubers, because we
That
get
is
to
true.
entertain people
That is
because they have
true.
nothing to fucking watch. So they're
But if you
stuck watching people like us.
so if you like late night TV, like Jimmy Kimmel and all those guys, you're gonna get reruns for a while until they reach a deal. So that's what's going on.
Well, I don't know if I would ever tell someone to watch Jimmy Kimmel, but yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I'm with you.
wondering if that might have delayed the announcement for Scream 7. Scream 7 would probably be a movie that's would be affected
Yeah. Oh
because
yeah,
they yeah.
because they'd want to start filming. Yeah, absolutely it would.
So yeah, other than that, what was it? Friday the 13th Part 2. It's a 40. I can't remember what anniversary it is. That came out in 82,
81. Came out in
81.
81. So
So
42
what?
year
42
anniversary.
years.
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason's coming up on his 20th anniversary.
Dude,
Can you believe
that's
that
crazy.
shit?
No, that's
20 years.
crazy. That's absolutely nuts.
Some crazy, crazy stuff, man. I can't believe we're getting this old. But
Yeah, it's a sobering reality, my friend. But
well,
I'm looking forward to being an angry, don't give a fuck old man. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Alley Girl's only worried about Yellowstone. Well, it sounds like Yellowstone is donezo. They may not even get it filmed. They might
Really?
cancel the yeah. Kevin Costner, I think he's in the midst of a contract negotiation,
Oh,
and he has held up the second part of filming for season
blame him.
5.
I don't blame him. If I were him, I'd milk that shit for all it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, when you're getting up his age and you have the hottest show
Yeah.
on television, I mean, you got to cash in one last time, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So it turns out Matthew McConaughey might be starting his own Yellowstone spinoff,
Jesus.
which I believe would be set in Texas at the Four Sixes Ranch.
Jesus.
So I shouldn't tell this story about the Four Sixes Ranch. So anyway, it's a big ranch in West Texas. We're kind of in the Panhandle.
Yeah.
One of the big old billion-dollar ranches. And when my grandparents retired, they moved up to a little town called Benjamin, Texas, which is close to the Four Sixes Ranch. And they got a job with the Four Sixes Ranch, and you want to know what they did? So
What?
they breed horse races or
Okay.
horses that do horse racing.
Yeah, yeah.
So when they would sell the seed, and my grandparents hauled the seed to whoever bought it. You know what I'm talking about? The seed?
Like
Uh,
manure?
no, the seed,
Oh, like the sperm?
the sperm. Yeah.
Jesus.
So yeah, they sold the sperm for the you know the good the horses.
How did your
Yeah.
grandpa get the sperm?
I have no clue. God
You
rest
didn't
their
ask?
soul. They're no longer with us, but they did that in their retirement. So I can't believe I just told that story on YouTube. But they loved it. They got to go around to rodeos. I mean, living the life. They did not jack the horses, Allie. They didn't. No, they they
You
hauled the
don't know
product
that. You don't
from
know that.
Jack and the Horse. There's no way they could have done that. Have you seen how that's done? How they
Don't
collect the sperm
don't
on a horse?
discredit. No, I haven't.
So yeah, someone has to actually catch that stuff.
I mean, I almost saw a horse show in Tijuana once, but that's as
Yeah,
close as I would have got.
there's no way they did that. They just hauled it from point A to point B. But hardly worse than hauling something, say like
So they're
Bud Light,
mules.
maybe Bud
Yeah,
Light might be
yeah.
worse. Anyway, well, looks like we have some people trickling in now. So you guys ready
Shane's
to
in,
get?
so now we can start. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
Shane is here. No, I
Hey,
see we
what's
have
up, Adam?
11 watching.
Adam Howard's
So
here. What's up?
yeah, so you guys ready to get into the top 10 worst moments or decisions from the David Gordon Green trilogy? If you guys are ready, I think we should get started. What do you think, Nick? We've
I think,
talked
yeah, I
about.
think so too.
I think
I,
we've
I
talked
think
about
so
the
too.
writer's strike, horse come. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a good segue.
okay, let's go. I'll
Okay.
let you go first.
Sure. Okay. My number 10 for worst moments from the David Gordon Green trilogy is one of many cringy bits of dialogue that I'm going to mention tonight. And this is said by Marion Chambers. This is the this is for Dr. Loomis
Oh
line. And then
God, I
she
just
shoots the
totally
gun.
forgot that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a moment where I'm probably going to just, be beating a dead horse here to keep the conversation going. But where I just kind of put my hand, or my head in my hand, like really, it's just so cringy. Like, God, uh, the legacy characters in this trilogy, any of the legacy characters were just wasted. And this is one of a few cringy lines that I'm going to mention tonight, and I just thought it was really, really fucking bad. Not like, okay, okay. No, it's really, really bad. So that's my number 10.
Yeah, everybody get your number 10s in. Yeah, so you mentioned that scene. I noticed it, and I kind of wonder if it might have been a callback to Halloween 2, where Loomis and Lori are in the OR room,
Yeah,
and the shape breaks through, and then Loomis pops out with his gun, and it doesn't fire because
that's
when she said this is for
actually
Dr. Loomis, she pulls the trigger and there's no more bullets left. So
that's
maybe,
actually not a bad point. I never thought of that because
yeah,
Loomis didn't have the bullet because of because when he shot through the marshal's window, right?
right,
That's the bullet. That was the
yeah,
bullet.
that was the
Uh,
bullet. So if he hadn't fired that warning, dude, that's fuck my
yeah,
god, dude.
right.
If he had not fired that warning shot,
Yes.
no, because he unloaded the gun.
Right, but he only shot 5 times, so he might have thought he had one more in the holster,
Dude, that's a good point.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
that's a whole nother topic, obviously. But I like where your head's at with the kind of callback there. I
that
never
would
thought of that.
require giving them credit.
I never thought of that. I like it.
We're not here for that tonight. But my number 10, it's gonna be Brackett's death and Halloween Kills.
Hmm.
First of all, they have him pop up and deliver that. Like it didn't land the same as it did in the original Halloween. Like everyone's entitled to one good scare,
Yeah, we'll be
and
talking about that.
and then he just had his throat slashed, and that was it. I didn't like it, and I thought it was one of the. They didn't need to kill a fucking 85-year-old man. They'd already killed. Well, we thought they'd killed two elderly people earlier, but
Yeah, it's just
I just think that was a dumb decision, and
oh, and it's so unceremonious too.
unceremonious.
Like
He did not deserve to deliver that shit ass line.
right, and I would have liked. Well, I'll talk about it a little later, but like there was he should have been there hell bent on revenge for him, Michael killing Annie, right?
Yeah,
Annie was, yes, she was, there's a picture of her, I think, on his desk or something, but like, you think you would have been like, we'll talk about it, but like, you're right. It was just a dumb death. And like, especially the way it was cut too, the way it was kind of shot, with him getting up and it was like, it almost seemed like some type of like John Wick filming or something like that.
yeah,
God.
yeah. If everybody, if you haven't gotten your number 10s in, you still have a little bit of time. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You want me to
Who's gonna?
start? slowly get into the chat here.
Yeah, we might as well. We have three.
Yeah,
We have to
yeah.
go with it.
All right, Shane Emerson, I believe. Lori talking about showing the world her tits.
Remember when she's giving the pep talk to Allison about, she's doing the women empowerment. She's like, you just gotta show your tits. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Pretty
It's
bad.
bad. It was bad. Allie says Julian cutting his toenails in 2018. I just
Yeah.
cut my toenails a couple hours ago, actually, and I wonder if it was as cringeworthy as that. It's probably worse. But yeah, that was. I didn't mind the the dialogue in that scene between Julian and what's her face? What's that chick's name that dies in the closet?
Vicky.
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 Thank you. I didn't
Yeah.
mind the dialogue, but yeah, I agree. The toenail thing was kind of like, okay, that's kind of weird. So I'm with you, Ellie. I agree. Um, let's see. Joe says the legacy characters were only there to drive up the kill count and try to make people care since they didn't do a good job making new characters people cared about. That is true. That is definitely
Well,
true.
I definitely cared about Vicky. She was her and Dave.
Yeah, I thought Vicky was good.
Little bit.
Yeah,
Oscar,
yeah,
not so much.
yeah. Scott says they should have had Julian biting his toenails off. uh,
Yeah.
Adam Howard says number 10, the Desert Eagle self own. What's that?
Where
Do you know about?
the nurse where she comes up with the Desert Eagle and she's gonna try. She's shooting at Michael, and
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
he
yeah,
like
yeah,
kicks
yeah.
the door open, and wraps her hand
Oh,
back around, and she shoots
dude,
herself.
I
She's
know a
popping up.
lot of people. I know a lot of people that really liked that kill. I hated it. I thought it was very cartoonish.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. I didn't mind her husband's death. You know, the knife kind of in his eye. I didn't mind that at all. But yeah, I thought that was cartoonish.
Magic Man, welcome to the chat. You have
Hey,
time to
what's
get your
up,
number.
Chris?
You have time to get your number 10 worst moment from the David Gordon
Yeah.
Green trilogy.
Chris,
Yeah,
I can't do Crispin tonight. I'm not. It's not my stream. I don't have access to my stuff. So no Crispin tonight. Next time I see you, I will give you Crispin, my man.
Chris's number 10 is Michael surviving another fire.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point. And I'm glad they didn't kill Michael by fire in Halloween Ends because we'd seen it already at nauseum from Halloween 2, obviously, which was the best. 2018, we saw it. Even Resurrection a little bit, right?
Yep, they did. That's the problem with these movies is they often have to recycle a lot of things that came before, and
Yep.
yeah, fire is one of the
Yeah.
most lazy ones, I would say.
Yes. Agreed.
All right, everybody, get your number 9s in. Nick, what do you have for number 9?
My number 9 is just what Shane said, I believe, earlier. And there's Lori saying you got to show grief your tits.
That's what she said. Show grief your tits.
Yeah. And it just the way she said it, like I get what they were trying to do. I completely get what they were trying to do there as far as, making Lori, different than she was from 2018 and Kills, obviously. Um, and trying to, be more laid back and, have a good relationship with Allison, etc.
Right.
But it just didn't land for me. It was a combination of, the line and the way it was delivered by JLC. It just didn't work for me at all. I thought it was like, yeah, I remember being in the theater and hearing it and just being like, oh god, like it's just weird. Like I just thought it was weird. So yeah, I've unfortunately, dealt with grief before. I know a lot of us have, and it's not advice I would give to somebody who's dealing with grief. I'll tell you that. So,
All
yeah,
right.
what do you got for your number 9?
So my number 9 is going to come with, I could have been along for the ride if they not have blown this, but Hawkins being found alive at the beginning of Halloween Kills. So, to me, I expected more when Hawkins survived Halloween Kills from his character. And then in Halloween Ends, he was just, he was there talking about the fucking cherry blossoms.
Cherry blossoms.
And then, he disappears and then shows up for a little bit at the end. And, I mean, they wasted a good actor in Will Patton having him survive, they gave it like they blew it. So
Yeah, possibly one of the
yeah,
best actors in the trilogy, almost by far, as far as acting
absolutely.
skills.
And it's to me that's why I had to put it as one of the worst moments or decisions. I was okay with Hawkins surviving, but I wanted more. I wanted to, they missed a big opportunity there.
Yeah, and it's almost
But
like they listened to some of the criticism after 2018 came out. Everyone's saying, Hawkins should have been the sheriff, Hawkins, so okay, they have him survive. And I didn't expect the movie to start the way it did with, Cameron
yeah,
finding Hawkins and then jumping into the flashback, etc. And Hawkins had so many great character moments
well,
in the hospital with Lori.
they
But
did need him to survive. I'm sorry, so they did need him to survive so they could kind of give something to the flashbacks.
right.
But then he survives Halloween Kills, and then to me, he ends
Oh,
up
and
to
he's a
drop the
he
ball.
is a crazy old man with messed up hair in the grocery store, and then like you said, he just kind of shows up at the end. Lori, and is he a
Yeah.
cop still or not? I know he was making food for people at the station, but is that because he's retired? Like there's nothing there.
Well,
Yeah,
I think he was a cop because they showed
he showed up
this
with them,
the
right?
scene with the tiger and the boyfriend were shot, and he was on the scene. So I'm gonna assume he still was.
Right, but that was a flashback to a previous Halloween,
No,
wasn't it?
no, this was in Halloween Ends where Lori was
Yeah, and
talking
wasn't it
about
at the
where she was kind of giving what uh like what had happened in Haddonfield in the years.
yeah, and
Like
that
they
was
found
I'm
Oscar's
saying that
mom
was a
was hanged, and then they found
Yeah, but
the
those were
girl.
weren't those previous Halloweens from before how in the
No,
4 year gap?
no, that was the tiger chick was the one that Cameron was kissing at the dance. It's the same girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm saying like that wasn't when Lori was describing that. Wasn't that like in the 4 year
Oh
time
no no
gap
you no
from
no 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 yeah. So it was part of that. You were right. They were showing part of that, and then they put in these scenes that were in the aftermath of kills. Yeah,
yeah,
it
what
was all
yeah, we don't
smashed
know.
together. You're right.
Yeah.
Like
The point is we don't know if he was still a cop or not. Like he might have been like it's probably 50-50 to be honest.
I feel like it was.
Yeah, he
I feel
probably
like it was.
was. It probably
Well,
was, but the fact that we kind of question it is ridiculous.
all right, we have some nines.
All right.
Allie with a good one. Oscar trying to kiss Allison. Yeah.
I was
Uh,
dancing and I was drunk and these girls were looking so hot and I made me horny. Yeah, so ridiculous.
it was all chubbed out. Got all
Yeah,
chubbed
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Shane Emerson, the John scared, Big John, Little John,
Oh,
scaring the
stabbed her
kids
in the
outside of
tit,
the house.
stabbed her in the tit or whatever.
Yeah, stabbed her in the tits
Yeah,
upstairs.
it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Unnecessary.
And Chris, the Magic Man, with a great one, the fucking microwave. Yeah, the scene where she was fighting with the microwave, where Allison couldn't warm up her shit, and then Lori had to here's how you do it. Yeah,
Are you sure he's not talking about the end scene when Laura uses the microwave as a distraction?
it could be.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
they
know.
had
Either way,
so yeah. I guess they had to use the microwave earlier to
yeah, it
set
was
that
good.
up.
It was good character work for the microwave where they
Right.
set it up as a character early in the movie.
I wonder how much the microwave got paid.
Yeah, yeah.
Adam Howard, any and all dialogue that Danny McBride obviously wrote. Yes, we'll be talking a little bit about that later.
Yeah.
Good one. Um, Scott said he was mad for Lori wasting that food in the microwave for Halloween Ends. Like starving kids are hungry. Let's see here. I think that's all we have. Did I miss one?
I don't think so.
Thought we had more
John,
than that, but all right.
where's Shane?
Diamond Rattler, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
What's up,
We're
Diamond?
we're doing the top 10 worst moments or decisions from the David Gordon Green trilogy. So if you want to come up with some and put them in the chat, we'll read them. So get your number eights in. Let's go to number eight, Nick. Unless there was
I
something else
know.
you wanted.
No. My number 8 is something that everybody's been talking about for 5 years now, and that's the peanut butter and the peanuts.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be brought up ad nauseum, so I won't go into too much detail on what's wrong with this line. It's just a weird thing to say, especially like with your 17-year-old daughter there. And would you really say the word penis? Like, would you really say that? Oh man, I got peanut butter on my penis. I just it just didn't work for me. Um,
Joe,
so yeah,
Joe, Joe with the haymaker. How is that only number 8?
dude, I think the 7 moments are worse, and I could probably go 7 pieces of dialogue that are worse. But yeah, it's number 8 because as much as I hate it, it's a quick throwaway line that's not really involved with too much of the plot. Where some of these other lines I have or things I have that kind of drive the plot. So that's why it's great.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Everybody get your number 8. So mine is in the same vein, but it's the banh mi sandwich talk
Oh
between the
yeah,
cops when they're kind of posted down the road from Lori's house. God, that was obviously a day. What's his name?
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride thing right there, and it was
Isn't that Christopher Nelson too?
it is Christopher Nelson. He was a special effects guy. He made all the masks. I guess they felt they had to give him some dialogue there, and it was just,
Joe.
what did Joe say? In the same vein, nice pun, but yeah, there you go. Good. I planned that all along. So, what are we on? Number 8? I only
Yeah, we're
see
on
one.
number 8.
I see 2 number 8s in there. One number 8, 2 number 8s.
All right, we'll start here. But yeah, I'm with you, bud. The sandwich stuff, like it, I just don't buy. Like, I understand that two cops there are going to be having some type of conversation, some type of banter. Would they really be going on though about a fucking sandwich like that? Like that's where it's just like they're it just
Yeah,
I just didn't buy it. I can understand having a conversation. Maybe they talk about sports or talk about you really believe, I don't know. I get what they were trying to do, but it was dumb, and it took away from other things that we could have got. So
yeah.
so
The
yeah, I'm with you.
original Halloween showed how you can do a comedy. I'll give you an example. Loomis, all the kids walk up to the Myers house, and he's in the bushes, and he's like, "Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from that."
So
That's how you do comedy in a horror movie.
right,
Like, come on.
I hear you.
We
Yep.
went from that to I got peanut butter on my penis to the banh mi sandwich. Arguing about your lunch.
Yeah,
Oh, the
ridiculous. All right.
entertainment wizard just dropped his entire
Boom.
list.
All right. We'll, we'll,
Um,
we'll, we'll, we'll scroll up to it to the numbers when the time comes. All
yeah.
right, let's go. Shane Emerson. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anyone. Oh no, sorry. Fantasy. His number 8 is Sandra still being alive. Yeah, I didn't like that either. She got a fucking light, like a what is it? Fluorescent light
Light
jabbed through
tube.
her
Yeah,
neck.
light tube.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like as much as here's where I don't buy it. As much as she was still alive. We know watching Michael test out the knives on Phil, right?
Yeah.
Her husband, uh, or who I presume was her husband. Um, we saw that, and she was still alive. Who would have got to her in time? There was nobody else there to call. They just needed a character to show up in the supermarket parking lot to show us that the town blamed Lori, right? So
Right.
they threw in Sandra, which in some respects I understand, but
You know what they could have done? They could have used Julian and maybe Julian's mom. Like
yes,
maybe have Julian just be like, "No, I don't
yes,
believe this. My mom, you're out
yeah,
of line." Something like that.
yeah, something, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. So good one, Chris. And Allie with the same one. Her and Chris on the same page. Sandra in the wheelchair at the store, and her sister griping at Lori. Um,
Mm.
yeah, like I said, I get the whole what they were going for with that, but the fact that Sandra survived, uh, logistically, it just doesn't make any sense. Let's see here. Shane Emerson's number 8. Cameron throwing Allison's phone into the pudding. Yeah, obviously they wanted to get Allison, phoneless. That you got to come up with creative ways to do
Yeah.
that, and the creative way is to have Cameron making out with a chick that's body painted, and then him getting mad at Allison for being mad and taking her phone and throwing it in the pudding. That's what
And
you thought of?
it doesn't make sense because 100 out of 100 girls would get their phone out of the pudding. 100 out
Yeah.
of 100.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Exactly. All right.
You
Let's
should
see.
just thrown it on the floor and stomped it. But that would have made it
Yeah.
too mean.
Right. All right. I'm gonna read Entertainment Wizards 10 through 8, so you can
Just
catch
read
up
his
here.
yeah. Just read his
Yeah.
number 8. We'll come back.
Well, I'll read the ones you didn't mention too. Number 10 is the bar scene in Kills. Yeah, that was cringy. Especially Tommy shit in there. Number 9, the cops jokes. So just what you said, Bud, for your number
Mm-hmm.
8. Number 8, Marion's death, which we spoke about earlier. So yeah, those are all good ones too. And we'll scroll up and read your 7 when we get to our 7s here as well. So
Sounds good.
my number 7, right?
You're number 7.
All right, you guys could, if you have your number 7s, put them in the chat. Well, Bud and I go. My number 7 is seeing too much. I know we didn't see all of it, but seeing too much of Michael's face at various points in time, and like close up kind of his face. Obviously, at the beginning of this trilogy, which I like the whole scene, by the way, at Smith's
Mm.
Grove, but they went a little too close with the side view of his face, and they did it later in the movie in kind of like the gas station scene, or not the gas station scene, the maybe when he's kind of watching Aaron and what's her face at
Yeah.
Judith's grave.
It was
And then
a lot more nuanced than the first one.
yeah,
But
and
but
then in
yeah.
Kills a little bit too after like not as bad because at least it was night. But you saw a little bit when Karen took his mask. But yeah, I just look, seeing his face the way we did, and I know we didn't see all of it, like I said, but I just didn't like seeing that, we had proof that this is an old man,
Yeah.
with the gray hair and the gray beard, and I get that that's James Jude Courtney and it's cool, but I just thought it was a little bit too much. They should have filmed it way more at a distance than they did. So that's my number 7.
All right. My number 7. Lindsay Wallace and Halloween Ends. I know. I know Kyle Richards couldn't be on set as much as she was probably required. And I've read the Halloween Ends novelization. She had a much bigger role, so obviously they had to cut her role back. But I mean, she wasn't even at the end when the town
Yeah.
put him to bed forever. Like she wasn't even
Why even
there.
why even have her in the movie
Well, so
then?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If she's not gonna be there, why even have her in the movie?
Yeah, should have killed her off
And
in Kills then, like everyone else.
so yeah, Lindsay Wallace and Halloween Ends. Just the whole thing is one of my worst decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. It just like what? So was she a bartender? Is that
Yeah,
what she was?
she was the
A bartender that
bartender.
like read
Yeah,
tarot cards or whatever?
yeah.
That was her role.
Like
Okay.
that's all well and fine, but like she didn't get to be there. She wasn't there.
Right.
I guess the bar never closes.
Yeah. 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 It was
It's
just kind of
like Abel dies tonight. The bar never closes. The bar never closes.
right. For real. All right. Your turn for 7s in the chat.
Shane Emerson's mentioned my hat.
And what is that hat? I've been wondering all night.
It's the Texas Ranger City Connect hat. I guess they have City
I don't know
Connect
what that means.
jerseys. It's their alternate jersey, alternate hat.
Oh, like the actual like baseball team.
Yeah, the actual Texas Rangers.
I thought you meant like Chuck Norris.
No, the Texas Ranger.
Okay. That is cool.
Yeah, thank you. I like it.
They're actually decent this year.
If
So
I could put it on straight, it would be even better. All right. Is it my turn for
it's
sevens?
your turn. Sevens.
All right.
Entertainment Wizard's big list, I think, would start.
Yeah, Shane Emerson, the two cops talking about their fucking lunches. Yeah, horrendous. The cherry blossoms conversation between Lori and Hawkins. Yeah, he wanted her to go see the cherry blossoms for whatever reason. Um, Scott, Lindsay, and Tommy drinking and driving in Halloween Kills.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
I never thought
Um,
of that.
Magic Man, all the cheesy callbacks like the idiot cops in the whole series. Yeah, they didn't do the cops much justice, starting with the sheriff. Like, I almost put the sheriff on my list about his introduction where he was like, what are we going to do?
I was
Cancel
thinking
Halloween?
I was thinking about that too. It's not on my list, but I considered it.
Like, no sheriff could be that stupid.
Yeah.
Um, Adam Howard, the entire mob chase. You get doctors smashing through glass windows. Yeah.
Might be talked
And then
about.
Byron Weaver, the 4 year time jump between kills and ends.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And Shane Emerson with a good point. The time jump should have taken place between 18 and kills and ends on the same night. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That way you
Okay.
could pay that off. Karen's death, you could have, you know, unbelievably Lori
Right.
after she had her stomach sewn back together.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
probably would have been the best way.
Yeah. And then I think Entertainment Wizard had Big John, Little John.
Oh, did I miss it? Am I
It was
going?
up in
Oh yeah,
his
right,
yeah, he
right.
had his whole
Duh.
the full list. Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
to forget that. Yeah, Big John and Little John, the whole thing. I guess didn't like it. All right, number sixes. Get your sixes in. What do you got, Nick?
My number six
Mm-hmm.
is Corey Cunningham related, believe it or not. And it's when he stabs himself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say kills himself because Michael obviously finishes the job.
Yeah.
Um, but essentially it is Corey, getting shot by Lori. And then, the line was he say, if I can't have her, nobody can, or something, and he stabs himself.
Well,
So all that, everything we went through that whole movie, Corey's whole journey, from you know, high school. I don't want to say nerd because I don't know if he's a nerd or not, but like a normal high school kid to ultimate evil or whatever the hell you want to call it. That whole journey we went on for over 90 minutes, and then Corey just stabbed himself because uh he wants to have what Allison hate Lori or something like that. I don't know. I just didn't like it. And obviously they had to do it because you know they needed to have Michael and Lori fight at the end, and this was Corey's story. It was just too jumbled, and the fact that some of us, I should say, were invested in Corey's story, and then just to have it end just like that was very abrupt and not satisfying at all. So that's
yeah.
my number six, if that makes sense.
It does. Believe it or not, I don't have anything Corey related on my worst moments list tonight. Like
Well, that
nothing.
can't be true. That can't be true. There's got to be one thing.
No, it's I don't have anything Corey related.
You sure
Might
about
have been,
that?
it could have been just a huge oversight, but I just yeah, I don't have anything Corey Cunningham related on my list. And I get your point about him stabbing himself, but ultimately it was he wanted to. He probably knew he was finished there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he wanted to drive a wedge between Allison and Lori.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah. I get what they're going for. Absolutely.
All
What
right.
do
So
you got for your
no,
six?
my number six is Lori's repeated and just nauseating fancy talk in Halloween Kills. Like the whole thing when she's talking and Karen's getting butchered. Ugh. Like where
Yeah,
she's
like the
talking to
more
Frank,
he kills, the more he
like
transcends,
Frank
that kind of stuff.
when he's like in a you know basically almost a coma from all the pain pills, and she's just sputtering all this nonsense. She also did it in 2018 as well. She had a lot of fancy talk in there too, but I just
True, but I feel like it was almost in Kills, to your point, it was almost more, I don't want to use like symbolic in nature, but it was almost more like mythical the way she was speaking. It's almost like it was written dialogue instead of just something someone would say.
yeah, fancy talk.
Yeah,
No,
there you go.
we don't like fancy talk. Nobody has time for fancy talk. No pun. I didn't mean anything by that. Don't infer what I just said into anything else. I'm in relation to the movie.
Shit. Um, okay. What are we on? Sixes?
We're on sixes.
All right.
Four
Sixes.
sixes I see in there. Four sixes.
And I'm gonna go up to Entertainment Wizard 6. And his number 6 is might be the ugliest person in this trilogy. It just says the name Oscar. So
Fair
I can
enough.
probably get I can probably get rid of might be.
He
So yeah,
really
I
had
was
no purpose. None
yeah,
at
no,
all.
he did. He did have a good kill scene though. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
All right, scrolling down to the other sixes here. Byron, or no, sorry, Chris Fantasy's first. I'll get to you next, Byron. Chris says, number 6, how many times Lori stabs Michael? How many times does she stab? I guess if you look at 18 and ends alone, she stabs him a shit ton, right?
Well,
Or
what
he's
about
probably talking
Al?
about the end of it. Probably talking about the end of ends when she's got him stabbed all over the kind of the table, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It does get a little overboard there. Uh, Byron Weaver says his number 6 is too much romance and Halloween ends. Byron, you're not a hopeless romantic, man. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So obviously you had the Allison and Corey romance. You had very subtle cherry blossom romance, kind of weird
Yeah.
flirtation with Lori and Hawkins when Lori's twiddling her hair in the supermarket. Um, yeah. Uh, so yeah, too much romance. Yep. Scott's number 6 says the sheriff had like 2 lines in Halloween ends. Like, what was the point? Wonder what his paycheck was in ends. Probably more than a lot of us
Unbelievably, he
maybe.
was still a sheriff too.
Yeah. We do tonight. Yeah, he just kind of showed up at the end.
Yeah.
Allie's number 6, the 3 words that will define this trilogy, possibly. Evil dies tonight.
Yeah.
Joe says they should have passed the torch to Allison and ends, but she was just there to nail Corey. They did her dirty. Yeah, that's unfortunate because I liked Allison as a character throughout the trilogy.
Yeah.
Um, see. Shane's number 6 is Julian, aka Toenail Clip Boy, clipping his nasty ass toenails.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adam Howard's number 6. Myers closing the trunk because raccoons, of course. Yeah, man, I am on record of saying I can't stand the scene of him closing that trunk, and it's not on my list, and I'm kicking myself that it's not on my list. If I could do my list all over again, I'd have that as well. But yeah, I don't like him closing the trunk either. All
I
right,
see
I
the
see
number fives are coming in,
fives
so
and
I guess.
yep, get your fives in.
Hold on, can I want to mention something Joe said? He
Yeah,
says they should have passed the torch to Allison and Inns, but she was just there to nail Corey. They did her dirty. That is correct. They did.
yeah. And Andy Manichek was good. That's what sucks. And she would have been even better with a little bit of a larger role. I agree.
Yeah. All right. What's your number five?
My number 5. Let's go back to Sheriff Brackett. His final scene at the end with his one good scare line. Dear Christ, it is fucking cringeworthy. Might be the most cringeworthy line, and that's saying something in this trilogy. The fact that he would say that he would remember a line that he said, off the cuff line, he said to Lori earlier in the day, in 40 years earlier, right? That he would remember that line. and later that night his fucking daughter is killed. And he remembers that line. And so it's almost like, he's been sitting there just, wondering if he ever got a chance to see Michael again. This is what I'd say. I'd say this fucking line to him. What the fuck are you talking about? It should have been like, this is for my Annie. And then, he starts blowing him away. Or you killed my daughter, you bastard. Like, something. Not,
Yeah,
Michael, it's Halloween.
exactly.
Everyone is entitled to one good
You
scare. Come on.
nailed it perfectly.
Oh,
And how many
drives
how
me
many
nuts.
takes do you think it took for them to film that? Him
Oh
saying that.
God. Yeah, and I love Charles Cyphers. Like, it's nothing
Yeah.
against him. Like, he's a fucking old man, and he's given this line by whether it was Green or McBride or whoever, and it's just like, really? That is not what someone would say in that situation at all. So that's my number 5.
All right, my number 5 is Tommy Doyle
Hmm.
in Halloween Kills. Like, we as Halloween YouTubers, Nick, we were excited about seeing Anthony Michael Hall's take on Tommy Doyle. We it might have been our fault we set the bar that high, but god damn, that was awful. Awful. Tommy Doyle was a waste. Um, I just can't say enough bad things about him. Just
Yeah,
totally missed the mark there. Like we didn't really get much in depth into Tommy. He was a big part of Halloween 1978. Would you agree?
he
Like
was a
he's
huge fucking part. He's the
yeah,
one that was telling Lori about the boogeyman. He saw him standing across the street. He
yeah,
saw him. Lori, what's the boogeyman? There's no such thing. That was Tommy. Tommy is the one that saw what Michael was before Lori did. Lori is the one that ended up believing Tommy by the end of the movie. It was
yeah,
Tommy.
yeah. I mean, fuck, we got more out of Lonnie Elam than we got from Tommy
Lonnie, yeah.
Doyle.
Yeah, Lonnie was fantastic compared to
Like God
Tommy.
Almighty. But yeah,
Yeah, and I remember, to piggyback off of what you're saying, I remember when and I'm sure you do too. I remember when they announced, that, like you said, Anthony Michael Hall was playing Tommy Doyle. I remember I was like, yes, not only is Anthony Michael Hall a very good actor,
mm-hmm.
uh, but but when I see him, especially with that shaved head too, when I see him, I I believe that is Tommy Doyle 40 years later. I believed it. So like you said, I and I'm sure I'm not alone here, built him up. I think I'm partially at fault for how I feel about Anthony Michael Hall's performance. And I don't know if it was him or the writing, but I'll say this. I thought his performance was god fucking awful and absolutely terrible. I put it right up there with, how I feel about Hayden Panettiere's performance in
Yeah,
Scream
right. That
Six.
that's pretty good.
It,
Pretty good
yeah,
take.
I just think it was very wooden. And look, the dialogue did him no favors. The storyline did him no favors. But I expected more from him. He's a better actor than
It was
that.
almost like he was a little rusty. He'd been out of the game a while,
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah,
Hayden was.
yeah. Right, right.
But
So yeah, I'm with you. I thought he was terrible, absolutely terrible, and it sucks because, like I was saying, Tommy is the one that, other than Lori, he is the one we should have been most excited for, and we probably were most excited for. And that just makes it that much more disappointing that, not only was Anthony Michael Hall's performance bad, in my opinion, but the character was just written horribly and just, right from the get go, his whole speech at the bar, which someone mentioned earlier, uh, was just, I don't know. I get what they were doing with it, but
yeah,
it was
just
not
missed,
good. It
just
was not
totally
good.
missed the mark. All right,
Yep.
number fives.
Number
Going back,
5. Is that me?
Entertainment Wizard hospital subplot.
Yeah.
I think is it me or you?
That's you. You're right. You're right.
Hospital subplot in Halloween Kills. Yeah, we'll talk about that here coming up.
Yeah, we will.
Damn, I had to scroll all the way up to number sevens for that. Number 5 from Byron Weaver. Michael getting his mask stolen by Corey. Yeah, Michael's just got fucking slapped around
Yeah.
too easily. And Byron Weaver has another number 5, not enough Hawkins. So he has two number 5s. So he
That's
must
how
have had a
Byron rolls,
touch.
man. That's how he rolls.
Not enough Hawkins and Lindsay in ends. I had that one earlier. Both of those.
Yep.
Magic
Hated.
Man, Jamie Lee's bad attempt at being drunk. 40 are still obsessed. Yeah, they another plot device that they recycled was Laurie
Yeah.
Strode being a drunk. Allie's number 5. Laurie kneeing the doctor when she was like, she just like all about
It's out of
fucking whooping
it's
everybody's
out of nowhere.
ass.
Yeah. It's out of nowhere. Like what the fuck?
It just knees him in the nuts for no reason. Um, yeah. Marion using all her bullets in Halloween Kills.
Yeah.
But she has only herself to blame for getting killed. Yeah.
Hmm.
Instead of delivering that shit ass line, she could have been running. Shane Emerson, Oscar's mom discovering his dead body in the hospital. I didn't really wasn't really bothered by that, but
I thought it was weird that it like I know there was chaos going on in the hospital. I just thought it was weird that the body's just there and for anyone to see that walks by. It's not there's no shade or anything, you know. That was weird.
Oscar's mom, she didn't show grief for tits because she hung herself. So,
Yeah, right.
let's see.
Just showing grief for tits in the sky.
Adam Howard, villain overload. I don't know if I'm like you're talking about maybe Corey Cunningham, the band, all the band geeks. Um, in that vein, villain overload, because they had
Villain overload.
who else would we consider a villain from this series? Maybe
Sartain.
Sartain. Who else? Maybe the
Sartain,
chick.
Corey,
Maybe the chick that
Michael,
was trying to rope Cameron at the dance.
Cameron,
Maybe her. Yeah, little.
the
That's
town of
true. We
Haddonfield.
had to have Michael Myers, Sartain, and Corey. Yeah, that is kind of.
And Danny
Joe
McBride.
agrees Tommy wasn't great in kills. Completely agree. And Adam Howard says I feel like covers Corey Sartain. Yeah, he's right. That's good. All right, get your number 4s in. I can't believe we're already number 4.
Right.
Nick, what's your number 4?
My number 4 was just mentioned, and that is Corey beating up Michael and taking the mask. Um, Obviously, anyone that knows me has heard my thoughts on Halloween Ends knows that I'm probably in the minority, where I'm actually a fan of what they did with Corey Cunningham. I really enjoyed the character, still do, but I thought seeing him take the mask from Michael was one step too far. You know, if they wanted to say that Corey went and took the mask from Michael, fine. Imply that. We shouldn't see that. We shouldn't see him beating up old man Myers. And I know Myers is, beat to hell from, the 4 years that passed after he got his ass whooped. I get all that, but we should not have seen Corey in essentially like a wrestling match with Myers and come out victorious. I get what they were doing, like I said, but we shouldn't have seen it. They should have just implied that Corey went and somehow got the mask from Myers. It was just bad, and it pissed a lot of people off, and rightfully so. I completely understand anyone that was pissed off by that. I didn't like it at all either, and it made my list up pretty high here. So, uh, yeah, I thought it was a terrible decision.
Lavelle Jackson, cut to the chase. Number 1 is Michael or Corey wrestling Michael to the ground. All right, that's your number 4.
That's my number 4.
Is the whole "evil dies tonight" phrase. Like, that's just such terrible cringe bullshit. Everybody, the whole, fuck, I can't. It's terrible. Evil dies
Yeah.
tonight is the worst fucking thing. Probably about.
I tell you what, I tell you what.
Say it's definitely according to my list, it is definitely the worst part of Halloween Kills. The rest
It'll
of
be
my
talked.
list is
Yeah,
not have any more kills, so it's the
it'll
worst
be
part
talked
of
about
it.
again. That would be a bad tattoo to get though. Evil dies tonight, like a shoulder or something like that. That
Uh,
would be bad, right?
it would be. Oh man,
Uh,
maybe if you're gonna like hang yourself
yeah,
afterwards.
yeah, yeah. I'll save my thoughts on that because it'll be mentioned again. But I'll
Yeah.
just say I
Okay.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I
I,
agree with
I
you.
I was feeling you might. That's why I didn't really want to
Yeah, I
browbeat
hear
you
you.
too
No,
much because there will be more.
no, you're good. You're good. I'm sure we'll hear it again.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm up reading the fours, scrolling all the way back up to EWs. And his number 4 is Evil Dies Tonight. Just save myself some scrolling. Yep. All right. Continuing down, we got Magic Man saying Lori's still being obsessed after 40 effing years.
Yeah.
So Chris Fantazi is basically saying, get over it, Lori. Get over it. Now, if that's a whole nother thing, if Halloween 2 was still canon, I could see it. But yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Byron Weaver says, Nick, would you be pissed if they did the Halloween 4 style ending with Allison and Halloween Ends instead of introducing Corey Cunningham? I'll say this. I don't know. That's a whole nother topic that I would have to think about, and it would all depend on the execution and things like that. It's not a bad idea for another video, so stay tuned, Byron. As we get closer to October, I'll talk about stuff like that. But that's kind of a whole nother can of worms. Continuing on, Byron's number 4 says number 4 have an actual chase scene with Michael Myers and Allison in Halloween 2018. Yeah, cutting off that chase scene, with that great musical score by John Carpenter and Cody Carpenter and whoever the other guy is. It was definitely a mistake that should have went on.
Yeah.
Shane says Michael on the hood of the car and being thrown into a meat grinder. Yeah, I figured that one will get mentioned. Was that
We know if Blaster were on here, that would be his
that's what I was
name.
gonna say. Jake Blaster always brings up the vacation, right? Like Aunt Edna and vacation.
Yeah.
Scott's number 4 says Lori burnt that damn pie in Halloween Ends. Can she do anything right? Apparently not, Scott. Apparently not. Not around the end of October.
She can drink
Um,
alcohol right, and
that's true.
and
That's
say
true.
cringy things right. She can do that.
That's true. Allie's number 4 is the band kids beating up Corey. Yep, high school has changed. Yeah, those
Yeah.
kids were fucking assholes too. For real.
Yeah.
Fantasy's number 4 is the weapons they brought to fight Michael. Yeah, like was it what did that lady have, a toaster? No, it was it iron,
She had
right?
an iron. Yeah.
Yeah,
Iron.
it's pretty funny. Uh,
Yeah.
and then you said Lavelle said, "Cut to the chase." Number 1 is Corey wrestling Michael to the ground.
Yeah.
So start getting your number 3s in, people. I see some people have gotten them in.
Adam Howard did you get his?
No, I don't think I did. Sorry, Adam.
Tommy being a major disappointment. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Adam. Hard to keep up with the chat sometimes. And Shane says Nick Corey should have discovered the mask after Michael disappeared in 2018 and become obsessed with it. Yep, rather than him stealing it. Yep.
Entertainment Wizard did us a solid and retyped his top 3 so we don't have to scroll all the way up.
Thanks, dude.
That is
Appreciate
very
it.
helpful. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, we ready for the top 3?
We are.
All right, let's hear it.
What is my number 3? My number 3, sorry, looking at my list on my phone here that I made. My number 3 is Sartain putting on the mask. I did not mind Sartain as a character. I didn't even really mind too much. A little bit I minded, but I didn't even too much mind this, what we've affectionately called the Sartain twist. But him putting on the mask, once again, is a step too far. When he stands up with the mask and we see it kind of like, I think from Allison's point of view, right in the back of the squad car.
Yeah.
It's just bad, like fucking stupid. And then the fact that him who was shot in the shoulder earlier can pick up Myers, who in this movie's got to weigh what, 240 maybe? I don't
Yeah.
know. He can pick him up. I mean,
Well,
Jesus.
adrenaline's a crazy drug, man.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
Um,
But him put on the mask was,
in terms of him putting on the mask, though, he was, he was obsessed with what made Michael tick, and maybe he just wanted to figure out if it was the mask.
yeah, if you wanted to
He
feel
wanted to
what it
study
felt
this
like.
guy in the wild. He's trying to understand it all.
I get it. I get it. But it's another thing that's just like, eh.
Well, whatever. But so there was a deleted scene with Aaron and
Okay.
Dana. They were in a hotel, and he put on the mask. Would everybody be losing their shit over that?
Probably
Is
not.
it is a deleted scene on the if you have the
Is it?
Blu-ray. It
I haven't
is.
seen that.
Like she's taking a shower and he puts the mask on and he like rips open the curtain. Ooh,
Really?
yeah, it's there. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have to see that. I'd probably I'd probably have a problem with it, but not enough of a problem to have it be on a list like this. Certainly not top three.
I
Um,
I bet
I,
you can find it on YouTube. I bet.
I'm sure I can. I'm gonna look, but yeah, that's my number three. What do you got for your number three?
So my number three is Ray's peanut butter penis. Like the guy's around his wife and daughter. Who could you imagine saying that in front of your wife and daughter? I got peanut butter on my penis.
It's just weird.
That's maybe something you say when the boys around, maybe, right?
Yeah, or your dog, right?
When the boys or the dog, yeah, that's something you say there. But to just throw that out, that was just they tried too hard there. No pun intended, Joe. Uh, just Ray is just pretty terrible. Wasn't played by the right guy. I mean, I guess they were going for a beta male. I guess a little bit. I guess that's
Yeah,
what they were going for. Like, okay, fuck Ray. That's my number three.
fair. That's fair.
All right, Entertainment Wizards number three. Halloween ends, all of it. Uh, Alley Girl, Corey fighting Michael in the sewer. Yeah, like fuck, man. Who would want to even go down there? He was eating. It's insinuated. So in the book, the homeless guy that's with them. In the book, that
Yeah.
guy goes out and finds people for him to kill, brings them into the sewer, and apparently Michael eat these people. So all the bones and shit you saw were people.
And what does this homeless guy get from that?
So this whole subplot was that he was in Smith's Grove with Michael next to him,
Jesus Christ. Smith
and
Grove is 150 miles away. You're telling me two people happen?
he also did the same thing in Smith's Grove. He would figure out how
Really?
to get people close to Michael so he could kill them.
See, that's something that when you write a novel or you have to flesh things out to
Yeah.
explain too much, that's something that, it's an idea you think of and it's like, I get it. You're trying to flesh out the story.
Yeah.
I get it, but that's bad.
So apparently he would have been one of the escapees that got away. I don't know. I don't remember how he got out. But it just so happened he found Michael and kind of accompanied him over the 4-year time deal. Let's see.
Interesting.
Scott, Vanessa shooting herself in the head and kills. She only got herself to blame for not paying any attention.
And where did she go? Where did she ran away and then all of a sudden
Yeah,
she
she
decides to
ran
come
down the
back?
street and then she came back. Yeah. Weird. She was out of there. She probably would have survived if she'd have kept running.
It's like she ran. It's like she jumped out of the car, took a piss, and came back. Right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Went and got a pack of cigarettes.
yeah.
Let's see. Byron Weaver, another 3. He has another 3. Did I miss his first one? Oh
Probably
yeah, he had
not.
one earlier.
Okay.
His earlier 3 was better promotion for kills and ends. I blame Universal and not spoiling the best parts of those. Yeah, they spoiled the whole movies. That's true.
Yeah.
So his other number 3 is the comedy in Halloween 2018.
Yeah, it's an issue.
The Magic Man, Ronald being interrupted watching Van Damme.
Is that Ronald is Corey's stepdad, right?
That stepdad, yeah, at the
Yeah.
junkyard.
Yeah, I
Shane
like that
Emerson,
character.
number 3 for Shane Emerson, and I like this one. The design of unmasked Michael in Ends. It's not that big of deal in terms of the movie, but seeing it behind the scenes and putting that into mind
Hmm.
for the movie makes him hate it. Yeah, he had all the wispy hair,
I haven't seen that.
and like where the fuck did his beard go? Like he was like clean shaven all of a sudden.
Really?
Yeah, I'll find him and send him to you. Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
of behind the. Oh, and speaking of behind the scenes, that book that we were talking about that's coming out about the trilogy. I sent
Yeah.
you the link to it earlier.
Yeah, I think you sent it to me last
Um,
night.
so basically, what it is, it's an art book. So it's not really telling in words the story of the trilogy, but it's like all the production art, the design, a lot of behind the scenes photo, and
Hmm.
it is called. I have to go back. God, we talked a lot today.
Yeah.
I thought I sent it to you. I don't see it. Well,
You sent it to me last night, like right before I went live last night, I think.
oh yeah, it's called the Halloween. The official making of Halloween. Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends by Abby Bernstein. It's the hardcover's $45. Kindle's $25. What are
Hmm.
we doing? But anyway, where was I on the number threes?
Uh,
I think Adam Howard, Laurie's monologues. It's like the directors are explaining something complicated, but it makes no sense when they veered and left field ends. So that
yeah.
rounds out the threes. Let's get the number twos. Get the number twos in. What do you got?
My number two, I kind of want to make this number one, but it's my number two. And that is the entire hospital subplot in Halloween Kills. So
Does that include the mobs? I guess it's the mob scene,
it's
all of it.
essentially the mob. Yeah, it's essentially the
Yeah,
mob scene. Like
yeah.
all that mob scene. Basically, basically it's the mob scene. It's not Laurie and Hawkins dialogue because I actually enjoyed that part,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just the mob scene. Uh, this is one of the only moments in the Halloween franchise, and I'm including Resurrection in this, that I fast forward through. Like, it's that fucking bad for me. I can't stand it. I think it is. Not only is it dull, and with a mob, with people going crazy and, chaos going on, it's hard to make that dull. They made it fucking dull for me. It's also incredibly stupid. They showed Myers' picture on TV, not to us. And then all these people believe this Danny DeVito looking motherfucker is Michael Myers so much. And I'm not an idiot, people. Contrary to what people say in my YouTube comments, I'm not an idiot. I know what they were trying to go for with this, the misinformation and things like that. I 100% get all that. There is a message to be had in that, but they did not execute it at all in my book. I think it's fucking terrible. We already talked about Laurie needing the doctor. What about Hawkins? And I get the symbolism of his hat lying on the ground. And then Karen, who touching DeVito, what's his name, Travoli or whatever the fuck his name is,
Yeah, like she's like,
touching, yeah, touching his fingers, and then he jumps. And what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to be crying? Am I supposed to be bawling my eyes out at this fucking terrible scene? What are you trying to make me think here? Besides that, misinformation makes people act crazy.
now Nick,
Not
you won't be able to hear this, but here's what the hospital scene needed.
okay.
Everybody else will hear. I'll tell you what it is. Maybe you can hear it a little bit. There's a Amazing Grace come sit on my face.
Yeah, dude, for
Uh,
real.
uh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I could go on.
It's you.
It's god awful. I hate it.
You're so impassioned on this. I can't wait to hear what your number one is.
Yeah.
My
Okay. Go
my
to your number two. I got to be done here.
my number two is from Halloween Ends. It is the Shapegasm, where
It's a good one.
Corey lures the cop that's kind of you know inexplicably had a relationship with Allison, um, follows him down into the sewer and show me how to do it. That whole scene, and then Michael makes the kill, and then has an orgasm.
Yes.
That's no other way to put it. He had a fucking orgasm right there in Halloween Ends,
Yeah,
and it's just so terrible. Like that was the James Duke Courtney's worst performance in the
yeah, it's
entire
bad.
franchise was that scene.
It's bad. That's another thing. Like, what are you trying to convey here?
Like it's
I
well
get it.
enough that he he was like feebled and but then he kills this guy and he has an orgasm and then he's better. I don't know. I don't get it.
Well,
Could
and
he could
like
he
if
could have killed that homeless guy and
right,
gotten it
and
over with.
if you want to convey that killing someone, is kind of bringing it back to him or whatever you want to convey, even if you want to convey that he's getting off on it, there are subtle ways to do that, not just shaking and things.
Well,
It was
I
just
don't
fucking
even think
weird.
that's what they were trying to say. They were trying to say that killing gives him
Brings him
powers or
back. Yeah.
something.
The more he
But
kills, the more he transcends, right?
I blame David
Jeez.
Gordon Green because it was his direction, and it was
Uh,
fucking
they're
awful.
trying to. It's what happens when you try to tell multiple stories
Yeah.
at the same time. Yeah, it was a weird stylistic choice. That's for sure. It's going to become a great GIF, throughout the years. I'll tell you that. Uh, but
Yes.
it's
So
sad.
if you go up to Entertainment Wizard, I'll let you do the twos because good luck. It's a lot of commingled shit. I see some threes and ones together.
All right, I'm gonna go.
Entertainment Wizard, start there, and then
All right, any twos I see, I'm gonna read here. Byron Weaver is number two. I assume it's gonna be his first number two. Is Dr. Sartain stabbing Hawkins and putting on Michael's mask. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I talked about that earlier. That is bad. I'll read your number one later, Byron. Um,
entertain. Don't forget Entertainment Wizards. It's
oh,
Ray.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's Ray.
Yeah, his number two is Ray. Just Ray.
Yeah.
That's good. That is good. Uh, Allie's number two, peanut butter penis Ray. Nice one, Allie. It's been on all of our lists so far, I think, tonight. Shane's number two, no surprise, is the Michael Corey WWE style, like 80s WWE style wrestling match. Chris Fantazi agrees with the rest of the room, Ray in all caps. Scott's number two. Here's an interesting one. Too many survivors in the trilogy. Lori, Allison, Lindsay, the sheriff, Julian, Sandra, and Hawkins. Yeah, that is interesting. That's actually an interesting topic. Were there too many survivors? Scott says yes. I
That's
don't
why we
know.
love doing these because we get so many good ideas.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic, Scott. You
All
might be
right.
right on that. Entertainment Wizard Ray and yep, I think Adam Howard. Just put his number two in. Adam Howard's number two. Michael kills Karen. Makes no sense. Michael's abilities are entirely arbitrary and they don't have to be. Yeah, that was odd. I'll give it that, especially knowing what we know now, having seen the full trilogy. It's unfortunate that
Yeah.
Karen died the way she did.
All right. We're the number ones.
Yeah, I'm curious what yours is.
Mine is actually a decision, but go ahead. Go ahead and
Okay,
make your. I'm
I
curious what
think I,
yours is too.
I think I know what your number one is. It's
Yeah.
a decision. Give me a chance to guess it after this. My number one is like I mentioned it earlier. You've mentioned it. We've seen it a lot. It is the three words that, in my mind, will define this trilogy, and that is evil dies tonight. Look, if we got this one or two times, that'd be fine. I think Marion, is it Marion that says it first? I think it might be at the bar. It might be Tommy, and then Marion repeats it. But anyway, it's said there at the bar, and then you get to the hospital, and evil dies, and there's a crowd of people. Evil dies tonight, and then brackets says, evil dies tonight. Another guy, evil dies tonight. But John in the back, evil dies tonight. Jake Plaster, evil dies tonight. Blake, evil dies tonight. Joe, evil dies tonight. What the fuck? Is this how people talk? Ah,
Never
God.
have so many people been so wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
E-
no shit, dude. Evil dies in 4 years. Like, what the fuck? It's just so stupid. Uh, and it is really unfortunate because for me personally, again, I can only speak for myself. For me, Kills has the highest highs of this franchise. But as you can see with my top two, it also has the lowest lows of this franchise for me. And in Halloween Ends, I thought they really cleaned up the dialogue, but they got a lot of other things wrong. You know, there we'll talk about a lot in the next show, I think. But for me, Evil Dies Tonight was so bad and so cringeworthy that it's what I'm gonna think about when I think of this
It's
trilogy.
worse than
And
show grief your
yeah,
tits. Is it worse?
yes, way worse because of the context, because everybody's saying it. It's the
That's
worst
true.
for me. Yeah. So
I
I'm
agree.
guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I guess yours?
All right, go ahead.
You said it was a decision, right?
It is a decision.
I'm gonna guess that it's the decision to make Lori kind of like Sarah Connor.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. All right. Good. Now I'm very interested.
Number
Continue.
one, worst decision that they made, and it was cutting Halloween 2 from canon.
I like
There's a
it.
perfectly plausible way to get out of that. Fuck John Carpenter. They should not have done that. They could have just made it all. Lori was in the hospital on Thorazine or whatever the fuck they gave her.
Hmm.
It could have been a dream. There was a way to get out of that.
There's
Um,
always a way. They chopped Michael's head off, man, and came back. There's always a fucking way.
and then they could still have kept the he's her sister. Oh, he was just caught. It was all she dreamed all that shit deep down subconsciously. She knew that they were brother and sister, whatever. But I mean, they cut the whole fucking movie from the canon. It's just that was easily the best sequel in the whole franchise. You agree? You agree?
Oh, 100%. 100% now. It's not even close.
Like everybody loves it. I mean, and they cut it from the canon. It was just I don't care what John Carpenter said. Just shut the fuck up, take your paycheck, make the music. End of story. Stupid idea. And to make that even worse, even when we came back to Halloween Memorials, we didn't get a. You could have had a Bud cameo if he's still alive, right?
That's
You
true.
didn't bring any like you put Brackett in there. Where's Bud?
Yeah. I mean,
Where's Nurse Karen? Like they could have had them
there's a
all
lot
there.
of yeah, there's a lot of avenues they could have taken. They had a throwaway line, obviously, with Allison and Vicky and Dave, I think, walking, where the throwaway line of, that's not her brother, that's something the townspeople made up. If they have a throwaway line like that, they could have a throwaway line. If they didn't, let's say they wanted Halloween 2, but they didn't want to go the brother sister route, you could have had a throwaway line that, the papers that Marion
Would it
got
have
from the
even
governor were
been the
wrong or
worst
something.
thing if they were brother and sister still? Would
So
it?
I personally don't want them brother or sister, but if it's just gonna be them two anyway, what's the fucking difference, right?
Yeah, like they
You
fought
know?
throughout the trilogy like they were brother and sister.
Yeah.
Joe says evil doesn't even die; it changes shape.
Hey.
All right,
Uh,
now I have to
I-
scroll back and find the number ones. Let's see here. Okay, Joe's number one. Um, Shane Emerson's the citizens chasing the mental patient across town and his suicide at the hospital. Yeah. Byron Weaver, the fight with Michael and Lori, and Michael Myers being weak and Halloweenians. Poor James Jude Courtney. Yeah. They made him act out an orgasm. Poor guy. Shane Emerson. Yeah, I read that one. Entertainment Wizard, I heard Kills has like 40 minutes of cut footage on the cutting room floor.
wow. I
Um,
believe it because that movie's terribly paced.
Joe says Karen deserved better. Magic Man, lethal injuries not being lethal. Hospital scene. We're talking about fucking Scream 6 here. Um, Joe, his number one is Laurie Strode. Um, Scott, number one, Scotty. They did Lindsay Wallace wrong for Halloween Ends. Kyle Richards was nominated for Best Frightened Performances and Kills, and lost to Jenna Ortega for Scream 5, but only got 3 scenes and ends. Yeah. Should have figured something out there. Entertainment Wizard hates the Sartain twist. Adam Howard
Yeah.
not having a mean, scary Myers in concluding chapter of the trilogy.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
very
true.
simple formula. Yeah.
One thing about sorry to interrupt, but what Entertainment Wizard said, the fucking or freaking Sartain twist is what's funny is, now we've, spent 6 months talking about how everyone hates Corey Cunningham. Well, 4 years ago, all we were talking about was how much everyone hated the Sartain twist.
Yeah. Let's see if there's any more.
Allie.
Allie tying Michael to the hood of the fucking car in her best blaster voice. Yeah. And that's gonna round out our top tens. Good job, everyone. I like how we all pretty much think alike. Everybody has them in different order, but we all pretty much hit the same notes.
Well, and what I like is, obviously, like Halloween Ends, okay, is the most divisive Halloween movie we've gotten in a long time. I personally like it, but I can admit, and I think a lot of people in the chat that like it or don't like it can admit, that they made some bad decisions here, and vice versa for some of these other movies. That's what I like. I like that, everyone in the chat was, even some of these movies that you liked, you were admitting that certain decisions or certain moments were cringeworthy, and I think it's important to be judicial like that. And, just because you like a movie doesn't mean, that you liked every aspect of that movie. So yeah, it's fun to do with something like that, with 3 movies like this. Now that we have the full scope, it's fun to do something like this.
Yeah. So that's going to round out our David Gordon Green trilogy top tens. I don't know. Do you think we should drop it? Or do you think we should do what we talked about, where we talk about its legacy in the Halloween franchise? Should we do that? Give everyone a break from the top tens?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a bunch of different talking points we can piggyback. We can have, we can piggyback off of things, like I know there's one thing you and I disagree about that could be fun to talk about, the state of the Halloween franchise, and things like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun to
yeah,
talk
we
about, and then
will. So
we can
on
come up with some talking points.
Episode 3, when that happens, I'm gonna have to look at the schedule. I might have to postpone it for the week after.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's see here. Yeah, I'll be on call that week, so
sounds good. Yeah, we'll do it the week after.
Or we can do it next week, whichever.
Let's decide tomorrow.
We'll decide tomorrow, but yeah, we will break down David Gordon Green's trilogy, its legacy, everything. So that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, someone brought it up. If you're still here, please hit the like and subscribe button and enable notifications.
Yeah, make sure you guys sub the Butts channel. I think you got a live stream tomorrow you're doing, right?
I'm doing a Halloween 3 live stream tomorrow night, 9:30 Eastern. I know Blake and Ronnie are going to review Star Wars, so I don't want to, everybody probably wants to see that. So I'll wait and go on after they're done. Probably won't be very long. I'm not going to do like a whole hour on Halloween 3, but I'm going to break it down just kind of like what I did last week with Halloween 2 and get a discussion going. And yeah, I'll look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow night if you're not busy. Right here on the Shape of Horror podcast. Nick, you're doing.
I'll be in the chat.
You'll be doing Friday the 13th Part 3 on Monday. You're gonna.
I am.
Review.
I am gonna listen to some disco music and get in the mood.
Yeah, I was there for last night for your Part 2. My things all were the same, but.
Yeah, they were. I'm enjoying revisiting that franchise.
I will never get over the brown panties. Never get over it.
Speaking of weird stylistic choices, right there, Jesus.
Yeah.
Man.
Those brown panties were like show grief your brown panties. Right
Yes.
Yes.
So good. But yeah, Halloween 3 will be fun to dissect tomorrow because it's one that like you know, I feel like at least on my channel, I talk about Halloween 3 a lot, but I never really dedicate one, it as like one topic. So it'll be nice to, hear someone talk about the actual, nitty-gritty of the movie because it's interesting.
I was able to watch it earlier today, kind of refresh
Oh, were you?
myself, and
Good idea.
you know what? It's not a bad movie.
No, I love
Not
Halloween
a
3.
bad movie. The only I'll talk about it tomorrow, but the only just real pull on it is that it's in the Halloween franchise. So we'll get into that tomorrow. Anything else that you wanted to promote or?
Nah, I don't need to promote, but I will say this, just as far as this show goes, we're gonna do this whether it's bi-weekly or twice a month. Bud and I are gonna be doing this. We're not just gonna be talking about the Halloween franchise. We're just
Yeah,
starting out.
we'll move on to other topics. We wanted to do a trilogy of the David Gordon Green trilogy. We wanted to
Yeah,
do
and we thought it'd be fun.
yeah.
Like after Halloween Ends came out, I didn't want to talk about Halloween for a while. Now that time has passed. It's been six
You
months.
notice everybody's talking about it again. You notice that?
Yeah, I did notice that. It's fascinating
All right,
to me, actually.
one last thing I'm gonna promote Sunday night right here on the Shape Report
Yes.
podcast. We're gonna do Halloween Kills trivia. Um, it's locked in. We will. I promise you, we will execute better than we did for Nightmare on Elm Street. We
How many
kind of.
questions you guys got?
Think we're gonna have 25 for this
20,
one.
25. Okay.
We had a lot of good ones, and we really had a lot of technical issues on the Nightmare on Elm Street, and I feel horribly about that. Part of it was on my end, but the worst part of it was on YouTube's end. They kept
Hold on a
cutting
second. Hold on a
shit.
second. I gotta put you on the spot here. Do you really feel horribly?
Yeah, I do.
What?
A lot of people were looking forward to that one, and we
It went
fucked up.
fine. It
But
went fine.
we fucked up the questions. We had to change the wager question on the fly, and it just
What's bullshit is I tried Googling Johnny Depp's license plate. I couldn't find it anywhere. I was looking at pictures. I was looking at everything. I could not find it anywhere.
Yeah, but we're doing Halloween Kills this Sunday, and I believe Terminator the following Sunday when we
So
go
let
back
me
to
let me let me
Blasters
ask you
channel.
this. Let me
Yeah,
ask you this. Terminator will be good too, by the way. Not to interrupt, but is the first question of Halloween Kills going to be blank dies tonight?
no,
No.
that the I don't think there are any questions about that. Well, actually, there may be, but I can't give any details. I can't. No spoilers.
Is Shane Emerson going to start at like negative 50, negative like 500 points just to give everyone else a chance?
Why? He hasn't. I don't think he's won a single
He
game.
hasn't. Well, that's because he's got the last question wrong every time. I think Shane should have start with
He,
each show with negative 500
I
points to
think
give everyone else a
on the
shot.
Nightmare on Elm Street, he ended his final point total was 1. He tried to do that Price is Right shit and
Yeah,
ended up with
smart,
$1. Yeah,
smart. Yeah,
but he tried to save
yeah,
himself $1,
yeah, smart. I
and
like
it
it.
got him went from like in the top to in the bottom. I think Allie got second place. So yeah.
Nice job, Allie.
So
Nice
yep,
job.
I think that's all we have tonight. So
Yep.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in and sharing your list with us. This is always a blast. Love breaking down all these Halloween movies with you guys. But we'll be back. We'll announce when we're going to be back for episode 3. So be looking for that soon. And we'll see you guys. Good night.
See you guys.